Hello and welcome to Look North. On the programme tonight, a teenager is found guilty of murdering 15-year-old Harvey Wilgus at his school in Sheffield earlier this year.
Our lives changed forever that day. Harvey was full of life, a warm, funny, caring boy who had a unique ability to bring people together.
We speak to Harvey's parents who pay tribute to their son. Also tonight, going nowhere, the local farmers who's losing valuable working days due to inconsiderate parking in a Yorkshire Dales village. Sheffield Wednesday fans prepare to protest with their club in financial crisis. They want their owner to sell. The Big Build, a global exhibition, comes to Leeds, made completely out of Lego.
And Sunday's looking like the best day of the weekend. It's going to be fine, dry and warm with plenty of sunshine. I'll have more details for you towards the end of the programme.
Good evening and welcome to Friday's Look North. A 15-year-old boy has been found guilty of murdering his fellow pupil Harvey Wilgus at a school in Sheffield earlier this year. Harvey, who was also 15, was stabbed to death at All Saints Catholic High School in February. The defendant, who can't be named due to his age, had admitted manslaughter and possession of a knife but had denied murdering the teenager. But today, a jury, after deliberating for almost 15 hours, found him guilty. Well, Tom Ingle is at Sheffield Crown Court for us now. Tom.
Amanda, this is a desperately sad story involving two young boys and a disagreement that turns toxic and leads to a final fatal confrontation. As you said, Harvey Wilgus was just 15 years old when he was fatally stabbed early into the lunch hour at All Saints School in Sheffield on the 3rd of February. Several young people around witnessed those terrifying scenes, and some even went to Harvey's aid in what turned out to be his final moments. Now, his attacker, who is also 15 and therefore too young for us to name, was initially on good terms with Harvey. At least that's what the court was told. But the two ended up in separate sides of a dispute involving two other young people. And from there, mistrust grew over social media. The court has been shown some CCTV from the school system. These first images we're going to show you see Harvey and the attacker jostling in a corridor. Now, the attacker says this is just light-hearted. But 2 hours later, he fatally stabbed Harvey in the canteen. You may find this second bits of CCTV slightly distressing. They show the attacker waving this long knife around in front of staff and pupils. It had a 13-centimetre serrated blade, which had been bought weeks earlier. Now, the court heard the boy brought it to school in defence. But the defence team here said the boy had had a terrible childhood. He'd been bullied, he'd been racially abused, but not by Harvey. And the attack is the moment that he snapped and lost control. The prosecution didn't agree. They say this was aggression that was carried out by someone who knew exactly what they were doing. After deliberating for nearly 15 hours, the jury agreed it was murder, which prompted gasps from the public gallery. After the verdict was delivered, Harvey's family spoke outside court.
On the 3rd of February, we didn't just lose Harvey, we lost part of ourselves. Our lives changed forever that day. Harvey was full of life, a warm, funny, caring boy who had a unique ability to bring people together. His presence lit up every room. He made people feel seen, heard and valued. He was deeply loved by his family, cherished by his friends and respected by all who knew him.
It's important we all try to change attitudes towards violence and carrying weapons, and we can all play a part in tackling knife crime. I am mindful that South Yorkshire's young people are currently on their summer holidays and may have been left feeling frightened or anxious following Harvey's death and the subsequent criminal justice proceedings. If you are a parent or carer and suspect your child is carrying a knife, or may be feeling under pressure to carry one, please have an open and honest conversation with them.
I'm going to read you the statement we've received from All Saints School today, which says Harvey's death was an unimaginable tragedy for all, and one that understandably gives rise to a number of questions from his family and others. Now the trial is finished, there will be investigations, and we will engage fully and openly with them to ensure every angle is considered. That is, of course, for the future, as is an inquest into Harvey's death. But today, everyone's thoughts are with a family who very bravely for the last 6 months have campaigned against knife crime in all its forms, but particularly in schools. And they've done that in the absence of a son that they love. Abijayula reports.
Harvey Wilgus was just 15 when he died, a boy who loved life and loved fun.
He were popular and he were a cheeky chap and daft, weren't he? And made people laugh.
It was a Monday morning that Harvey went into All Saints High School and never came home.
And he said, "Mum, I'm going to school, are you proud of me?" And I said, "I am, love." And I followed him downstairs, I followed him through the corridor, and he said, "I love you, Mum, shut the door behind me." And that's his last words to me.
Harvey had been struggling with anxiety and had not been attending school regularly.
We didn't really see it until we went on holiday and he had 2 really bad panic attacks. We don't know whether that was why he wasn't going to go to school. He weren't going to school.
Because you had done a lot to try and get Harvey to school. It wasn't that he just didn't go and you did nothing.
No.
I went on a parenting course.
We'd got people coming. We'd got people coming in to help us to try and get him to go to school.
The decision to go to lessons on the 3rd of February cost Harvey his life. Police were called just after noon and his parents and siblings rushed to the school.
You know, you never think he's going to lose his life. But when I got onto Granville Road and I saw the amount of police and bodies around, I thought it's serious, and they won't let us. Just at the sitting police car, they raced up to Children's, and I still thought at that time he was still alive.
In a room, and you and Sophie walked in, and then I looked at my phone and someone had put R.I.P. Harvey, and these 2 ladies ran in, and I said, "Somebody's just said R.I.P. Harvey," and she said, "He's passed." And then I just started screaming.
Hundreds turned out for Harvey's funeral at Sheffield Cathedral. He was laid to rest in a coffin reflecting his passion for Sheffield United.
Harvey, I hope you can see just how loved you are by countless hearts, both near and far.
His sister Sophie read a poem she'd written for him. Mourners came to remember a boy who was loved and known by so many.
He always made jokes, he always had a smile on his face, you know, where he never failed to make anyone laugh. He'd walk around school smiling, you know. That's the person that he were, and yeah, I do miss him, you know. It doesn't feel real.
They've lost a good laugh, they've lost a good friendship, a best mate, a friend, a cousin, a brother. They've lost all of that, and a lot that comes with him is just gone. You know, he was that shine, and that's gone now.
House is so
empty, quiet. It's just lifeless, really, isn't it?
His bedroom's exactly the same as it were when he left it. I can't deal with going in there yet.
Do you spend time in the room?
I go in, yeah, just don't do anything. Just go in and look out the window and then come out. It just feels close to him.
Despite their grief, just days after Harvey's death, Mark and Caroline led an anti-knife crime march through the streets of Sheffield and have been campaigning and fundraising ever since.
Kids have got to be educated on the impact of their lives, of the family's lives, and of the person that's done it's family's life as well, because they've got an empty bedroom.
Today's court proceedings mark the end of one part of Harvey's story, but his family want his legacy to help others avoid their pain.
Personally, I don't think we'll ever get justice for him. We'll never get Harvey back.
It's real now that he's not coming home. and we're missing him, aren't we?
Harvey Wilgus' parents Caroline and Mark speaking to our reporter Abby Jayola. Now, a story which contains some details you may find upsetting. An investigation into allegations that South Yorkshire police officers sexually abused children in Rotherham is to be investigated by the National Crime Agency. Ollie Constable joins me now. Ollie, what are these allegations?
Well, 5 women spoke to the BBC last month. They said they were exploited by these grooming gangs when they were children in the 1990s and early 2000s in Rotherham. They said they were also abused by police officers. One of the women says she was raped from the age of 12 by a serving police officer in a marked police car. She claimed that if she did not comply, he said he would threaten to hand her back to the grooming gangs to be abused further. Now, between 1997 and 2013, at least 1,400 young people were abused by men in Rotherham. These further allegations have led to a new criminal investigation looking at the role of the police officers. South Yorkshire Police previously said its major crime unit would investigate these under the direction of the police watchdog.
Now, the force has asked the National Crime Agency to take over now, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. There were calls for South Yorkshire Police to be removed from the investigation in the interests of transparency. That has now happened. Well, 3 former police officers have already been arrested on suspicion of sexual offences, including one former police constable who was arrested on suspicion of raping a teenage girl in 2004 in the town. Now, in a statement today, South Yorkshire Police said while the culture, processes and workforce have transformed in the decades since the failings in Rotherham, the harm suffered by the victim survivors remains their reality every single day. Victim and wider public trust and confidence are treasured aspects of our policing service, and where past failings have prevented us from securing this, handing over the investigation is simply the right thing to do. We'll of course keep you updated as this investigation continues.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ollie. And if you or someone you know has been affected by the issues raised in tonight's programme, you can contact the BBC Action Line via bbc.co.uk/action line for details of organisations which offer advice and support. Some more news from around the region now, and police divers have continued to search the coast around Flamborough for a missing Leeds dad. Father of 2, Matt McDavid, dropped out of sight from the shore while swimming 9 days ago. This afternoon, rescue teams searched caves near to where he was last seen. A rower from West Yorkshire is part of a charity crew who were mistaken for a migrant boat by an MP. Independent Great Yarmouth MP Rupert Lowe shared this picture on X, incorrectly claiming dinghies were coming ashore in his constituency, and the Coast Guard was called out. Since the error, Mr Lowe has promised to donate £1,000 to the MND charity supported by the rowers, one of whom is Mike Bates from Leeds.
Well, I was on shift, I was rowing at the time, so I answered the Coast Guard's call. And my initial instinct was, is there a dinghy in the water? Is there someone that we need to help? That's your first instinct, right? Because is it a child who's been blown offshore? So we quickly all had a good look around, and then we suddenly twigged. Well, the irony here, of course, is I've served our country for half of my entire life. So the idea that I'm a stowaway migrant, it couldn't be further from the truth.
Now, Yorkshire welcomes millions of visitors each year, and it's no wonder people love to visit. We're home to 2 World Heritage Sites, 6 national museums, and have 1/3 of all the national parks in England on our doorstep. Well, the 3 parks welcome nearly 30 million visitors in the total every year. Of those, over 5 million people visited the Yorkshire Dales and spent over £1 billion in 2023. But with visitors comes vehicles, and people living in Malham say bad parking by visitors is causing traffic chaos. One farmer says he loses important working days because he can't get machinery in and out of his farm when it's busy with tourists. They're asking people to be more considerate and say more double yellow lines will be put at problem locations. Dave Edwards reports.
Getting around his 1,000-hectare farm on a tractor is no problem for Frank. His family have farmed the land and raised cattle and sheep near Malham for almost 100 years. But navigating the nearby roads on a weekend or bank holiday is a different story. Frank filmed a recent attempt to drive down into the village. He can't take larger farm machinery out when it's busy, and contractors can't get through either. The only road into the farm runs past Goredale Scar, and when the tourists flock in, the roads are gridlocked.
They park in passing places, they park on both sides of the road on corners, so often you need, with big equipment, you need a lot of turning space and circles just to get the machine round, really, and because of the parking and things like that, it makes it impossible.
When the road looks like this, Frank loses valuable working time, and access for other people who live and work in the village is affected too. But for the farm, it can have a financial impact if they can't harvest when they need to.
Could mean lower quality crops and things like that, so it could affect livestock later down the line.
This is what draws the crowds, the stunning Yorkshire Dales landscape. Since lockdown, the area has soared in popularity, and while the locals are happy to welcome visitors, they're becoming fed up with the parking problems.
We do have to just stand in the road to advise people what to do. Unfortunately, people will move, ask them to move, create a little bit of a space we can get people past each other and then direct it all. But it can take a good hour and a half something to sort it out once it gets out of control.
During the week, the road here is quieter and parking is manageable, but the parish council are trying to tackle the issue. They've increased car parking down in the village itself, and they're waiting for new road markings for the problem areas.
We've applied for some additional yellow lines to be put in from North Yorkshire, from highways, which they've agreed to. They've gone through the whole process. We're now just in the queue really to have them done. Unfortunately, because of the constraints on highways, North Yorkshire highways, that can take kind of a couple of years. But they're coming, so that will improve it, and that's just the pinch points. We're not banning parking, it's just literally the tight spots like here. It'll just stop people, hopefully, from parking inconsiderately.
The message to visitors is clear. You are welcome, just please park responsibly. Dave Edwards, BBC Look North.
Now, Championship football starts this weekend, but for Sheffield Wednesday fans, it's a bittersweet moment. The club is in financial crisis, and with a threadbare squad under the ownership of Dapont Chansiri, this weekend the Supporters Trust is planning a protest at the game in Leicester. They want the club sold to a new owner. Here's our sport reporter, Sally Hurst.
For lifelong Sheffield Wednesday fan Ian Bennett, the journey to the first game of the season has been turbulent.
It's exhausting, really, both emotionally and on your mental health as well, panicking when it's a big part of your life.
Under the ownership of Dapont Chansiri, the club has been in financial crisis for months. Manager Danny Röhl left the club last Tuesday by mutual consent, and the North Stand was ruled out of action over safety concerns. On Wednesday, some players and staff had their wages delayed for the third month in a row. A day later, new head coach Henrik Pedersen was appointed, whilst long-serving captain Barry Bannon signed a new contract. But on Monday, players issued a joint statement demanding action to avoid strike action, before the EFL said the game against Leicester this weekend can go ahead.
Over to you.
Today, Ian and other members of the Supporters Trust are collecting a specially commissioned 12-foot banner from the printers, ready for a protest in the stands. But first, a practice run in Sheffield city centre.
One of the oldest clubs in the world, one of the oldest professional clubs in the country, with a massive fan base, and we're basically the Trust are fighting for them.
Sheffield Wednesday is a massive part of my life, and my dad's life, and my son's life, and the club means a hell of a lot to us.
It's a big family thing for me and my dad, because he's been taking me for a long while. So it would be nice to see the club back and running again.
In the background, there's a lot of work that's going on around financial and legal issues that obviously don't get seen as much, and they're just as important, because really what we want is Dapont Chansiri to sell the club.
Fans long for a time when match days are about what happens on the field rather than off it. And Sheffield MP Clive Betts hopes the new Football Governance Act will prevent this kind of crisis arising again.
It is also a clear message to government now. Please get on and bring in the football regulator. The legislation's been passed and that regulator will have a lot more powers to sort out football owners who run clubs into the ground in this sort of way.
Meanwhile, training went ahead as normal this morning behind closed doors as the team's depleted squad get ready to travel down the M1 on Sunday.
It's a tough situation, but the players do a great job. And the last 2 days I can feel, yes, there's lots going on around, but I can also feel that it's going more and more in this direction, that there's one thing, and this is to make a top performance Sunday against Leicester.
We want our Wednesday bike.
Wednesday have sold out their allocation of tickets to the Leicester game, a sign of the passion and loyalty of its travelling fans, prepared to demonstrate their dismay for the current ownership while supporting their beloved team. Sally Hurst, BBC Look North, Sheffield.
Well, we've heard there about Sheffield Wednesday's preparations for the new season, and Sheffield United start their new championship campaign at home tomorrow with a tea-time kick-off against Bristol City at 5:30. It'll be a home debut for the Blades' new manager Ruben Sellers, who replaced Chris Wilder during the summer break. And there have been a few changes to last season's playing squad, who made it as far as that dramatic Wembley playoff final. The aim is to go one stage better this time. Now, a group of children have created their own comic book to help raise money for a charity that helps protect seals. It's set in a place called Sealville, where they say all the animals are safe. Something they hope will happen along the Yorkshire coast if more people are aware of how to protect the local wildlife. Carla Fowler reports.
11-year-old Freddie Harrison loves seals, but never dreamed he'd one day be handing over more than £500 to a charity dedicated to protecting them. Freddie and a group of friends from Springbank School in Farsley spent months inventing and designing a seal-based comic. Now they've sold enough copies to present a cheque to the Yorkshire Seal Group.
We've been going to markets or selling them throughout school, and even on the street we can. I hope that people teach people about how to respect them instead of, not being respectful enough, because sometimes people can get a bit too close and disturb them, which I don't want that happening.
Some people planned out the story, and then people wrote what it would actually look like. And then I know I did the background drawing. Jemima did the character drawing, did you?
And then Freddie's dad printed it out. Did a really good job. And I think we sold them pretty well. So
they're handing over the funds at a location on the Yorkshire coast known for seals. But the charity want to protect their whereabouts because seals are so vulnerable to illness and injury through disturbance.
I just think it's amazing. I just think they've done so well. Most of it will be spent on things like signage, so we're trying to get signs up as much as we can throughout the area. Things like leaflets, educational leaflets that we can contribute to and give out to people. We use things like binoculars so that when we're on site at different locations, we can get people to have a better view without having to go so close. So again, we try and say at least 100 metres away from a seal, if not further, if possible.
From a safe distance, the children do spot the very creatures their creativity and hard work will protect.
Me and Freddie were just talking, there's 80. I thought it'd be 1 or 2, but there's so many when you look closer.
How does it feel to know that you're helping to keep them safe?
Amazing.
The children's drawings and stories could make the difference that helps seal the future of our coastal wildlife. Carla Fowler, BBC Look North.
Fantastic effort. Now, what is the best thing you've ever made out of Lego? A house, a car, or something a little bit more elaborate? Well, take a look at this. Isn't it absolutely incredible? Over 70 of these Lego sculptures have got on display in Leeds today, and Olivia Courtney Ashton has been to see them.
The world-renowned Lego art exhibition, The Art of the Brick, has officially arrived in Leeds. It features over 70 large-scale sculptures by artist Nathan Sawaya, all made entirely from Lego bricks.
I'm always happy to bring the art of the brick to a new place and have a new audience see the art for the first time. The art of the brick has been to 120 cities, so this is the first time it'll ever be in Leeds, so I'm excited to see what people think.
Surveyor is bringing a playful twist to classic masterpieces like Van Gogh's Starry Night for everyone to enjoy.
I've just loved it. I felt like I'm really at home just with all this Lego around me.
I just cannot believe how one person can take a picture of something or an animal and just start. Where do you start? Like, how do you start with that? So I'm blown away.
It's mind-blowing. Some of the art on the walls in here, the wave, the Japanese artist, I can't remember his name, but that's a really impressive piece as well.
We're embodying passion. We've got everything, so you can have iconic works of art, animals, and a bit wild cards as well. So there's something special for everybody to enjoy.
So whether you're an art enthusiast, a Lego lover, or just looking for a fun day out, the exhibition is open until the end of September. Olivia Courtney-Ashton, BBC Look North, Leeds.
Wow, looks amazing. I used to absolutely love Lego, and now my children play with it. Were you a Lego builder, Katerina?
No, not really.
No.
Lego does make me panic.
Yeah.
It just brings back memories of a time where I stepped on Lego with a bare foot. Have you tried that?
We've all done that, yes, and
like
sworn a
stepping on
little
plug.
bit.
Yeah, it's just the worst pain. I'll just show you some Weather Watchers photos
Yes.
sent in today. So this one was a beautiful sunrise sent in this morning in Otley, along with clear skies. It was also quite mild as well, temperatures in the mid-teens this morning. And then the second photo here, I mean, this really sums up how it has been for most of us through today. There's been a fair amount of cloud around, and at times there has been some sunny spells too. And I thought these berries just made that photo look a bit autumnal. And having taken a look at the calendar, it looks like we are only 3 weeks away now until meteorological autumn. So it's come around very, very quickly. But thank you as always for sending in your pictures. If you'd like your picture on the telly, you can send it in to us via social media, or you can head straight to the Weather Watchers website. So we're out there this weekend. Saturday is looking breezy with a few showers. Sunday, the better day with some sunshine. A complex low to the north, high pressure to the south. This cold front will work its way through tomorrow, weakening as it does. We may get a few showers, but that breeze is also going to pick up. And then high pressure is going to build in from the south as we head through Sunday. So Sunday is looking like a fine day with plenty of sunshine. So out there tonight, it's looking dry with some clear spells, just a few showers perhaps further west. Temperatures will fall away to around 11 or 12 degrees. And then your next high waters very quickly got Scarborough at 4:56 tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow, a fine start to the day with plenty of sunshine. Cloud amounts will increase through the afternoon. A few spots of drizzle and some showers further west, driest further east with temperatures around 22 degrees, but warmer and sunnier on Sunday.
Oh, not too bad. It is the Kettlewell Scarecrow Festival tomorrow, so we can have some sunshine. That would be lovely.
Yes.
That's it from us. Have a lovely weekend. Goodbye.